Dear Twin Flame souls out there, welcome to the Twin Flame Awakening Journey podcast, and today is in episode number 57. It's the last episode of 2023 and the season 1, and in today's episode I'm going to discuss about the things that I did not believe when I first arrived or came across with this Twin Flame concept, journey, and so on. The reason I'm making this episode is that when we first come across, and this happens to us, it's very difficult to believe that this is the real thing. So in today's episode, I'm definitely going to talk about it, that were for me so difficult to believe, and what happened later on. So today I can reflect back. So it's a good time to reflect back. I'd like you to also, if you feel that there has been something that you couldn't believe and you didn't want to believe, and later on it became the truth, leave it down in the comments to just support and show that this journey is very complex. It has many aspects. It's not just one way, one story, one journey. So it has so much more. So I just would like to make sure that those of you who are just arriving to this journey can get the support and understanding that you're not alone and it is a little bit of a roller coaster. So thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed this episode, and here we go. So when I first arrived on this journey, first of all, I'd never heard about twin flames, and lying here a little bit, I've heard the term once before. And when I first arrived on this journey, that I felt this electricity with a stranger I had just met, and I had this inner knowing that I need to message, I need to talk to him, and I had no idea why. And to remind yourself, I am a very friendly person, but when someone TMs me or sends me messages, I'm extremely slow to reply, and often when I don't know the person, I don't even reply. So it's not something I am very familiar with. And when this happened to me, I couldn't recognize myself. I didn't understand what just happened to me. I had no idea. But this connection, this electricity was there so strong that obviously I couldn't deny it, and people around me were able to see that something is happening to me. I was obviously smiling more. I was like, many people say if you have a laugh on the first sight, but for me, I could not, my brain and my inner energy could not make sense what just happened, because I was not attracted to my twin. He was not my type. Just a great guy if I look at it on a big picture. But inside of me, I was different from that on. And so when, obviously, during this time when we were texting and messaging each other and talking to one another, I had no idea that there's going to be the journey that is going to be from there on. I had no idea about it. So there is going to be the separation when you are on a twin flame journey. And there is a reason for that. And so I had no idea. I thought I was so alive. I felt like every single part of my body was alive. I was smiling more. I was happier. I just felt I was in a flow. And I remember writing on my journal, because I did a soul realignment right before that, 2 months in prior of meeting my twin flame, and Akashic Records. And then I remember writing on my journal that thank you, God, for this opportunity, because I feel so alive and I see that my soul is aligned and everything is flowing and I'm flowing and things are happening. Until, of course, the separation came. And this separation took me like off guard within a minute. I had no idea how much this separation is going to hurt me and how much the separation is going to teach me something. And of course, when I was on this pain and this obsessive thinking, waiting to get some kind of information, waiting to get the connection. I could not understand what is happening. And of course, what we do, I started typing in on Google or somewhere, where else, on Google about this obsessive thinking, why I can't stop thinking, why I just cannot be myself no longer, who I was prior of meeting my twin flame. And then, of course, the twin flame information started to come through. And the term of twin flame and all the noise around it, I just could not accept it. I thought, this is not real. Okay, yes, a lot of things are ticking the box, a lot of things I understand, and a lot of things are making sense. But at the same time, inside of me, I was like, someone is just trying to scam these people. This is not real. It's gonna go away. Of course, now if I reflect back to it, I can see that there are some kind of information out there that is not exactly correct. And I'm not saying I am 100% correct here and I know everything and now I'm the master. Definitely not. But I understand why both the ego and my inner voice back then was saying, no, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. And so somehow my inner voice and my ego at the same time were able to guide me to the information that actually finally started to make sense. So yes, I was ticking all these boxes. I was like, okay, this is unreal. Okay. And then, of course, what we do from there, the rabbit hole comes, is the watching all the Twin Flames YouTube videos to trying to get the sense of it. My first guide in that terms was Kurt Johnson from the All Star. And I still have a huge respect on him because he helped actually to get me here where I am today within the fact of understanding that this is not a love story. But did I want to believe this in the beginning? No. But we're going to go there. So then, obviously, I was trying to get myself around this twin flame, but I still had a lot of doubt because this journey is very intense and very complex. On these 4 months, when I had no contact, we did not speak to one another. And those of you who know, have listened to my podcast previously, they know that the conversation with my twin just happened like electricity disappeared. Apart from, like, we had a long conversation, and from there on, he never checked the message again, he disappeared. Like, literally. Like electricity had disappeared. And so I was so triggered and I could not understand what just happened. And obviously I could not understand myself because I was not seeking to fall in love with someone. I was not looking to date somebody. I had nothing. I love, in a sense, of my husband. I'm married to my soulmate. Was it perfect? Definitely not. And I don't think any of us can say that, oh, every marriage is perfect. No, every marriage has ups and downs, and it always requires work. Marriage requires work. But it was not that I ever seeked out somebody. Never. It's not my style, and I'm not here to judge anybody if someone feels they need it. I did not. And when this happened, I was in a battle with myself, of course, with my ego, that this is not me. How can I feel this kind of things towards a stranger? It's going to stop. So my next belief in that terms was that it's not twin flames, and this mumbo jumbo electricity, what happened inside of me, is going to stop. And I truly believed that. I was trying to convince myself that, okay, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, maybe maximum half a year, and then it's going to stop. Well, here I was really, really wrong. And these two things made me to realize that twin flames are real. And now I'm going to explain how. I was refusing to accept the term twin flames, and I was refusing to accept this journey because I was like, this is not real. Someone came up with this. They're trying to now convince people that there are twin flames and it's ultimate love, and your life is going to fall apart and you either going to end up with your twin flame or all of this. And I did not want to believe that. Even though inside of me I was like, okay, something is there about these twin flames. I still don't like the label of twin flames because unfortunately, as I haven't seen any of this information, but I know that there are people who manipulate this word like this term, and there's a label a little bit. So I mean, again, I'm going to say, I need to say twin flames because we have right now the information around it. Am I the biggest fan of the term twin flames? Definitely not, but it's a different story. So now coming back to how I realized that it is a twin flame journey was that the ego death, of course, the dark night of the soul. I also like to clarify that the dark night of the soul is not one day or one night. Dark night of the soul can last quite long. It depends on a person, it depends on a journey, it depends on how much you're going to resist to kill your own ego. I could say for me it was definitely 4 months very intense time, and then about another 5 months where I was adjusting into. So those of you who are listening to my podcast today will think like, oh, she's talking so happily, she's all of that. No, I was not even close to happiness and feeling good. It was so painful that if I say this word painful, I still remember how much I was suffering. And so I was resisting it. I didn't want to believe that. I thought it's going to stop. I know it's going to stop. Well, it did not. And the more I was resisting it, the more my body got into the pain. So eventually I was literally crying on the floor, so much in pain that I thought I'm going to die. And from there on, I really had no more opportunities than just saying, all right, God, all right, universe, if I am on this journey, then I'm going to lift up my hands and I'm just going to do whatever you ask me to do. Because it's too much for me to handle. I cannot handle this no longer. And that happened on the 2nd of August. And I remember that day. I remember that day so well. Again, here, why I want to say to people that please write down on your notes or on your journal when things happen, because they start to make sense later on. So it happened on the 2nd of August. And by 22nd of August, I received a message from my twin flame. And then I really looked it up into the sky, and I was like, all right, God. All right, I am on this journey. And now I'm going to do, like I promised, I'll do what you ask me to do. I follow the signs, I follow the guidance, and so on. So that brings us to the third term, and why I'm talking about this, what was the other third thing I didn't want to believe, was this that twin flame journey is your spiritual awakening. Because each and every time I mention to someone that twin flame journey is your spiritual awakening, I can sense and feel how it's like, no, but I love my twin flame. We are the perfect match. We are the perfect couple. I love him so much and so dearly, and all I want him back. I know. I've been there, and I felt the exact same way. But this is not a solution. Twin flames are not just a love story. Is it the most divine love you're going to feel? With today's information, I can say yes. I've never felt something so profound in my life. But is it the perfect love story? Yes and no. But it's definitely your spiritual awakening. And that's something I didn't want to believe. I was like, what spiritual awakening? What is this thing? Why I have to do all of that spiritual work? Why I have to meditate? Why I have to go all of these things? What is this thing? Why I have to journal? Why I have to do the breath work? Why I have to go on these retreats? Why I have to do this? And why I had to move the country? I'd never been in my life before. And I just had to go there. And I had a very comfortable and beautiful life. Well, in the sense that obviously when I was in this pain, it did not look anything beautiful and comfortable, because this pain really took me to my knees. And this is another reason why I'm making the things that I didn't believe that it is your spiritual awakening. But it is. And today I can really reflect back and say it is your spiritual awakening. Number one, meeting your twin flame is your spiritual awakening. You will align with your soul. You will become your higher self. And when you're asking me, what's the point for me to become your higher self? I know. I asked the same question when I was in this pain and missing that person. Because I was unable to zoom out and see that this already happened. My soul found home. My soul became one. My soul was split into two parts, and I had a chance of this lifetime to meet my twin flame, to meet my soul, and now I'm one. And now I'm doing, and I'm me. I'm purely me. And there is so much power of being just you as you are. There is so much power in that, and so much beauty. I know I've spoken to so many of you until today, and I had this honor. And that's also thanks to my soul, thanks to my twin flame. Because this meeting you and talking to you and sharing the experience and me seeing how you are growing, how you are evolving, how you becoming your higher self, I have enormous gratitude for that. Each time I'm talking about it, I start crying, so I'll try not to cry today because it's something that is really deeply in my heart of seeing that I can help a person to become their higher self, that they receive love, they receive success, that they receive the joy of life. And there is nothing better than this. But I was unable to see this when I first arrived to this journey. When I first arrived to this journey, it was very black and white. So today I can see, and that's why I want to tell you that it's okay that today you don't see it's a spiritual awakening. It's okay that today you want your twin flame to be with you, that you miss your twin flame, that you want to be with your twin flame. It's absolutely fine. I know, I've been there. Listening all about it, how much work I have to do, how much I have to go within, and how much I had to do inside of me was exhausting as well, because this information was coming in and out, and then obviously the confusion about certain things. I want to say that twin flame journeys are not so black and white. There is why I would like to have your comment about the things that, let's say, you read, or even you heard on my podcast, which I said that this is how it is, but in your journey, it turned out to be completely different. I don't believe that we have exact same formula, because listening to everyone's stories, I'm like, yes, there is a pattern. I agree. With twin flames, there is a pattern to know if someone is your twin flame. And it includes intense spiritual awakening. It includes that. It includes the dark night of the soul. It includes spiritual awakening, signs. You start seeing signs. You all of a sudden feel like you're living a bit of like in another universe. There's a fight what you have within yourself, where your ego starts to dissolve and you don't really like that, but at the same time you understand you need to let it go. And then so there are certain things. And then the next thing is that your twin flame is in your life forever. So when we think of that your twin flame will never return, then this person is not your twin flame. You are energetically so much connected that your twin flame will always return back to your life. Always. So thinking that your twin flame will not come is not true. So that's another thing I believed. So when I was first on this journey, listening to the information that was out there, constantly I was told that your twin flame is not feeling the same what you felt. And I'm just going to say that I obviously never harassed my twin flames or never started texting like, hey, what happened? Why you don't talk to me? Why did you stop talking? The moment he never replied my message, I never touched it again. And it wasn't, it was just like, I never asked again, like, hey, what happened? Why don't you talk to me? And all, just inside of me, I started processing this. I felt it was the right thing to do. I did contact, I think in between some time, I remember I went out and I was drinking a little bit, not a little bit, I think I was quite drunk. And then I did contact him because I was desperate. I was absolutely desperate and devastated. And of course, alcohol is the one that finally brings the lion out of us, which is not the smartest thing, but it was nothing really, bad. It was actually pretty okay. like in that sense that I just said one thing and we start from there. And then from there, I was in pain and trying to figure this out. So me believing that my twin flame did not feel any of that, my twin flame didn't feel that electricity, because this was the biggest question I had in my head, was like, was this just me? Was this just me that I met a complete stranger? I felt something I've never felt before, which I shouldn't feel. And again, knowing my true nature, I am so friendly. Like, I meet men and women all the time. I talk to them. I have actually most of my friends are male, and I'm like always friendly. So for me, it's not that I am attracted to someone like because I feel sad, and it's never been a thing. I I really know in the sense of who I am, so I don't seek for the validation outside. And on that moment, I could not understand. And I truly believe, by listening to many videos and many stories, your twin flame did not feel any of that. Leave your twin flame alone. Don't think about your twin flame. All right, I tried all of these things. I tried not to think about my twin flame. Well, I know many of you who are listening to today's podcast, you can tell that you can try not to think about your twin flame. You can try to, distract yourself. It will be still the first thing you wake up in the morning and the last thing you go to sleep. And in between, you're going to have these downloads, feelings, and everything. And I was fighting against that. Again, I was trying that this has to stop. I don't know this person. I don't have to have these feelings. I'm going to stop it. It didn't work out like this. Here is why today I want to say, when you are in this process, just acknowledge yourself. Instead of fighting against it, saying, all right, I am on this journey. I can feel this energy. I can feel something is happening. I would recommend to put on more work into meditation, more work into breath work, because breath work helps you a lot. It really helps you a lot. Try to do inner work as much as possible in that terms, that you can calm yourself down, because it is extremely intense. At the same time, you cannot stop this intense energy. So which means you have to go through it. You have to go through this portal. You have to experience it. And I know it sounds so rude, like, oh, you just asked me to feel the pain. I do. There is no other way. There is no other way. You can't escape this pain. Then, like I said, I believe that my twin flame did not feel any of this, that this was all in my head. This was all that I imagined. This was all that had only happened to me, based on the information that was out there. But I was smart enough back then to write things down in my diary, or in my journal, or in the notes. And when I was writing things down on my notes, I was able to reflect back on them. So what happened was that I was writing down everything. And later on, when I had a conversation with my twin flame, and I literally have one-on-one conversation where he said to me, you disappearing was the hardest thing for me. It literally broke me, because I got very attached to you, and I had this feeling, and he was going on and on and on and on, and I'm like reading it. And I'm looking inside of me, and I was like, I knew it all the time. I knew it. But since I got the information, and it was so confusing, because all the energies were trying to balance out and so on, I was unable to see the reality. And questioning myself millions and millions of times, did my twin flame love me? Because I heard from the information I had back then, that no, your twin flame did not love you, your twin flame doesn't care about you, that's why they run, and when you think about them, they're gonna run even more. And I really truly believe that. But something inside of me constantly asked me to write things down on my notes, and in my notes on the phone, on a paper, constantly. Maybe it was also some sort of a form of therapy for me, because I didn't speak about this to anyone. I was super good at putting a happy face on. I was super good at going out. But inside of me, I was dying. I was literally dying, and no one knew. So the only way for me to express that was to write things down. And when I now came on this twin flame journey and started sharing the experience, the number one thing my guides and my inner voice told me is put out the cause, talk to people, guide them through. Because you needed this, and this can help a lot. And so I decided to do so. So those of you who would wish to book their call for 2024, feel free to do so. Anyways, so I didn't believe that until I had a proof. So everything is in a sense of process. When I look at now back of my journey, first it was extreme love energy, something I ever felt before. And all I wanted to hear is that this is a perfect partner. I never felt such a love towards anybody. This is going to be the perfect relationship because of the love. Today, I say this, yes, it is your spiritual awakening, and it has even way more than just the love. It has the peace, inner peace, that you have arrived home, that you are the love now. You flow, you meet people in your frequency, you grow, you experience, you are living the life. You are here, right now, right here. And without this experience, I wouldn't be here. And so, yes, feeling this enormous love is totally normal, and allow yourself to feel it and yourself to want your twin flame in your life. And if you have the knowing that you and your twin is going to end up together, it is going to happen. That's why I would like you to write things down when you feel them, when they come at you, when you get the downloads, when you hear the inner voice. Write these things down. Because when it's going to happen, you're going to go back and you're going to look at this like, I knew it. I just knew it. I had this inner voice inside of yourself. So do not doubt yourself. But the mind obviously starts to doubt. Did my twin flame love me? Or is he or she loving me? Especially when they run away. And twin flames are not toxic. I want to make this really clear. Okay, there can be certain elements that look like toxic. I agree with this. And this is a different part of it. But in a sense of twin flame relationship, I never had any toxic energy with my twin flame. Never. We never said anything bad to each other. We never put each other down. We never, treated each other like in a negative form, even though we were not in touch with each other for some periods of time. Never. He brought the best out of me, and I'm trying to do this best for him. Can it be in some levels toxic? Like, let's say you feel like, oh, he's not responding me the way I wish. He's not telling me exactly the truth the way I wish. Absolutely, this can sound a little bit toxic. My twin flame I used to call him the most mysterious man on earth, because I didn't know anything about him, literally anything, and at the same time I knew everything. And so, and when I look back at my conversation, it was also very ego-based time to time. So I cannot go around here and say, oh, my twin flame was only like this. No. I was also very in a protective mode, very much of trying to navigate around this, and unable to speak my exact truth. So throat chakra opening is definitely something I would recommend to everybody, because it will help you to speak your truth, and it will help you to connect better with your twin flame. I just want to bring in another example, which so many of us, and I'm going to say from my own experience. When I was on this twin flame separation time, when we didn't speak to each other, and I was in enormous pain. And I know that many of us are connected with our twin flames over social media or WhatsApp or whatever they communicate. And I remember myself being in extreme pain. But what did I do during the extreme pain? Me. I was posting on social media constantly. every day, every minute. I was going out as much as I can. I was doing things all the time and posting all the time of how happy I am. Dying inside, completely dying inside, but I need to show how happy I am. And I want to just say to you that if you look at your twin flame on social media and you see that they constantly are posting, trying to show how happy they are, then they are not. Then they are not at all. They are seeking for the validation, they're seeking for the connection, they're trying to distract themselves constantly. And also social media was the way for me to distract. So I was all over the place all the time. And this is actually a pretty, even if we leave the twin flames aside, people who post regularly on social media, like all the time that they need some kind of an attention, tend to be the unhappiest one. So just shift your perspective of here. I'm not saying that I still post today, but it's very different than it was back then. Back then, it was just like I was looking for the moments to show how happy I am, what I'm doing, how I'm doing. Obviously, to get an attention of my twin flame, get an attention to validate myself that this is going to go away. I'm going to be all good. I don't feel this pain no longer. This pain is going to stop. Well, it did not until I was on my knees and I had to start going within. And going within is not fun. It's not fun at all. But this journey requires this. So just keep that in mind. Then, of course, talking of many of say that your twin flame do not feel the same energy that is happening. I would say your twin flame feels pretty well what is happening. Now it's just a fact of how they're going to cope with that and when they're going to feel this and how they're going to feel this. Because it's not like if I am in pain, my twin flame will be the same way in pain. No, definitely not. But they can sense that something is happening and they don't understand what is happening. They go all the time feel like something is going on, but I don't know what is going on. In my previous podcast, I brought this example where the woman whose twin flame found her 10 years in prior, messaged her. She didn't understand what happened. And from there on, she was seeing him in a meditation constantly, over and over and over again, and smelling the smoke. So I just want to say that if you're going through this and you are on the true twin flame journey, they will feel that something is there. Do they know exactly? Definitely not. It's impossible because even today, you know, when you have this weird energies coming towards you, that you feel that your twin flame is around you, or you feeling like that your twin flame is trying to tell you something, but you're like, no, that's not true. That's not real. We who are on this journey and have gathered so much information still trying to deny that this is happening. So think about them. They don't even have the information. And they feeling it, but they're trying to not to feel it. So this is what goes exactly against of the information that is out there. I agree with one thing, and I truly agree. If you do things in order to get your twin flame back, let's say you go into the breath work because that will bring your twin flame back. You go into the Reiki because that will bring your twin flame back. You're going to do all kinds of ayahuasca or all of these kind of things just because it will bring your twin flame back. It will not happen. And the core idea of that, why is it not happening, is because it shows that you do not believe already energetically that you are in a union. The moment you believe energetically that, oh my God, my soul is aligned, I am in a union, I am me, I feel the power, what I have inside of me. I have so much love to give, so much love to share. I can heal, I can create, I can do. When you can do all of these things, then the magic will start to happen. I guarantee you that. But when you, every single action, and I can tell you this, because coming back to the social media, I haven't been as much as how I was going out during this time. Because I was doing everything in a hope of running into my twin flame or seeing him or just getting some kind of an information. And I don't remember if I ever mentioned this, but when I know I have told the story how I went to the sound healing and the man opened my throat chakra and all of that, and this was also random. I was never participating on any giveaways, but apparently I won. And he did that to me. And that was a funny thing that happened. I was on the street. I had just done this, so which means my soul was more aligned than ever before. And I'm on the street, and it was like a mirror. I looked up behind me, and I could see him. And he was with a back towards me, so he could not see me. And we were like in a parallel universes. And that was the other moment where I realized, I have to go within. I have to get the answers from within. It's not about me doing everything in order this to happen. So in a sense, it's less doing and more going within. Then, of course, this weird voice that started to come on my head. Yeah, you can put me in the hospital for that. The weird voice asked me to do that. Well, actually, this weird voice, which is inside of you, that is talking to you, is it's your guide. It's your guide for a life. And for me, it was, I started waking up and it started to tell me, you have to go to this country. You have to leave this. You have to go. You have to go. I can't believe how quickly I packed my things and how quickly we moved out in order to arrive to this country where I am at this moment. And this country had so much this energy I needed to discover and become that it changed everything. But what type of person on earth will, if you see on the fact that I was so attached and so in love with my twin flame, will leave the country where we met and go completely on the other side of the, not really other side of the world, but quite far, and then get the answers? Well, I did, and I'm glad I did, because I listened to my inner voice. And that's another thing. This weird voice, you have to listen to it. You have to start becoming the best friend with your inner voice. And even though it sounds absolutely ridiculous what your inner voice is telling you sometimes, then write it down. Write these things down, have them on your journal, process it if you need to, if you're not ready for taking a next step. Because sometimes we're scared of making a change. But this inner voice is your guide. And again, I didn't want to believe this because I had so far like 4 very strong inner voice sounds. Number 1 was, go to this country, there are the answers, and you have to leave. I was like, I don't know why, but I have to go. I did that. But it took me in that sense of listening to this voice about a month and a half. But then when I made a decision, I think within a week, everything fall into the place. Second thing was this podcasting. I had this inner voice, you have to start the podcast, you have to start the podcast, you have to start the podcast. And it was waking me up at 2 a.m. constantly. When I finally gave up and I said, all right, I will start a podcast. Then there were 2 other more personal things that were coming at me and saying to me, you have to do this, you have to do this. And I was like, all right, I do this. And then little things daily, such as going to the, let's say, beach. I have to go to beach, or I have to go there, or I have to smile at this person. I smile regularly for everybody, but overall, you get my point. And these little clues were giving me the answers. So again, listen to this inner voice, even though in the beginning I thought, okay, I'm crazy completely. And then these 2 things exactly that I believed, which are the final things. I wanted to tell you that one of the episodes is out on Patreon where I talk about the red car theory, where you get to know about what do I mean under this, of this inner voice and seeing the opportunities. So it's out on the Patreon as an extra episode. Those of you who are supporting me on Patreon can listen to it. And thank you so much for supporting me there. And those of you who would like to have more content in 2024, if you support me on Patreon, I'll be able to put out more content. I'll be able to maybe invite, I really hope I'll be able to invite guests. I'll be able to do giveaways. I'll be able to do more and more because your support will help me to dedicate more time on this project for you. So thank you for supporting. It's $5.99 a month. And you will have access to the 2 monthly group calls. You have an extra access to the meditations and extra episodes which I'll not put it out sometimes when they get too personal. Anyways, and so the last final two things I wanted to say was that I did not believe that my twin flame returned back, and that takes me back to the first thing, that I didn't believe in twin flames, and I didn't believe that my twin flame will return and speak to me and we will have a conversation again. I didn't believe that because I didn't believe in twin flames, so I thought it will never happen again. So twin flames, no, that's not real. And why he should reach out to me, why he should tell me certain things, like it's finished, it's over. And then when he reached out to me and when we had the conversation, I realized, no. When someone is your true twin flame, they will always return back to you. Always. And now listening to the stories, I had this amazing honor of listening to your story or reading your story. I can see it doesn't matter how much time will pass. It doesn't matter what will happen. Your twin flame will be in touch with you in this lifetime, for sure. It can be that there's going to be 30 years time where you don't see each other, but you're connected forever. From your soul, you're connected forever. And this will be your guide for a life. This will help you to create, to bring more love, and to change the frequency also of the earth. So, yes, it can take time, but don't stop living. Don't stop living. Your twin flame would never want you to stop living. Never, ever. I don't want my twin flame to stop living. Even though, like I said, I'm in a very good touch with my twin flame, and he's going through a very, very hard time. But it's part of the process. And then, of course, the final thing is extreme spiritual growth. And that will come with the twin flames. I've never been more connected to the source, to the universe, as I am today. The signs, I know how to read the signs. That's why I say, please write down the numbers, write down the animals when they come at you, connect with them. The way I can do channeling today is way more powerful than I've ever been able to do this before. It's like another universe. I can, like I was able to do this before, but because I have been meditating now, I have been connecting with my soul. I have a lot of spiritual practices which I do. And of course, I read more, I educate myself more, I'm going more within. So the connection is stronger than ever. And just this week, it was so beautiful. I had two beautiful souls on the call for channeling. And they said just, wow, like, because they were not ready what's going to come. Because if you have never done channeling before, you don't know what to expect. And that's, I think, is the beautiful part. If your soul asks you to do that, and you have no idea what's going to come, I would recommend you to see what's going to come. And then two of these beautiful souls, two beautiful women, oh, they are incredible. Their twin flames are so lucky to have them because they have so much deep love, so much caring. They're beautiful. They're incredible. And I'm going to say all of my beautiful souls are incredible. It's just that they were in my mind today. And they were saying to me, you just don't know how much you gave me right now with this channeling. It was such a beautiful gift. Because you can feel and sense the energy during the channeling. It changed me, it changed my life, and that's why I want to give it back to others, if I can. I can try my best to do so. Anyways, this was the part of what I wanted to share and tell you that all of this, what you're going through, is normal. Take your time today and reflect back on how did you enter to this journey and who you are today. If you feel brave enough, you can share this in the comments or just send me an email. Or write yourself down on a paper today and read it out loud. Because this journey is an ongoing. And I know I have a lot to learn. I know that today. My inner voice is telling me, wow, this is going to give you another set of growth. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful because today I have you. I have you in my life. I am so dearly thankful. I'm going to cry immediately, so I better not go into that. But you are a gift of mine. And thank you for being my gift. And thank you for being here. Your support is so beautiful. So thank you. I also want to say another beautiful thing, that we reached 4,000 subscribers on YouTube. Oh my God. Thank you. I wish I could hug each one of you and just tell you your likes, your comments, your subscribe means so much to me. And it's not about the numbers. It's about you connecting with me. So thank you. Anyways, I'm going to end this podcast today on 2023, and with finalizing the season 1. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope it gave you some insights, and I send you so much love and kindness. If you wish to support this channel on Patreon, you can join the Patreon today. And those of you who've signed up for the yoga retreat, I think I found the perfect house. So now I'm feeling confident enough of sending out you the full details. I have all the masters lined up. 2 very well-known yoga teachers here where I live. Reiki master, shamanic teacher. So wow, I'm so excited. Been a bit hesitant of sending it out because of the location. I haven't found the perfect one yet, but I think I did now. So watch out for your mailboxes, and I'm glad that I can meet some of you in 2024. Thank you so much, and lots of love and light. Don't forget to spread your light today. You're absolutely beautiful. Thank you.